So I'd love to start this video by reminding you that your masculine side is beautiful and you should honor it for protecting you, supporting you, helping you be driven and focused so you could enjoy success in your life. However, if you have decided to start operating primarily in your feminine energy, then your masculine side has to take a back seat, with the understanding that you can always call on it depending on the situation, because we are a combination of both energies. In this video, I'll be sharing with you 5 signs that you are too in your masculine energy and how you can reconnect with your feminine side. Let's get into the video. And I breathe. Hello intentional woman, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ayanime and we are starting with the first sign, and that is hyper independence. It is so easy to see a woman who is fiercely independent and label her masculine, forgetting that hyper independence is a trauma response. It is a coping mechanism, because if you've never had anybody to rely on in your life, if you had to raise yourself, maybe even raise your siblings, you had to do life on your own, figure everything out by yourself, your needs were unmet, if you had to fight and push and shove for every good thing that you ever had, and worse, maybe you were made to feel unsafe due to trauma or some sort of abuse, and let's say you found the courage to leave that situation, it is so easy to go into warrior mode and say to yourself, nobody will ever make me feel like a victim again. I will never depend on another person again, because let's face it, it is really painful when you depend on people and they keep letting you down. So you embrace the identity of the strong, independent woman. And guess what? It has served you. It protected you and it brought you to this point in your life. But now you have to understand that this same trait can ruin your relationships. And this is not just about romantic relationships. It can also ruin your friendships. Because if you keep saying, I don't need anybody, I don't need any man, I can do it all by myself, I've got everything covered, and you keep acting in a way that communicates this, in your head, you may feel that you are letting the people in your life know that you are not needy and you can take care of yourself. But the message the people who love you will be receiving is that you don't need them. And if you don't need them, what exactly are they doing in your life? Because most human beings want to feel valued and needed. So when you keep doing this, these people will likely take themselves out of your life. And when this happens, it will reaffirm your belief that the people in your life are not reliable, without you realizing that you created the situation for that to happen by pushing them away when they wanted to help you and be there for you. I know it is easier to let go of that control and need to do everything by yourself when the people in your life start to show you that they can be trusted and that they are reliable. But you have to first create the room for that to happen. You have to be willing to admit that you cannot do everything by yourself, that you need help. Are you not tired of doing it all by yourself? My goodness, you must be exhausted. So you have to be vulnerable enough and willing to ask for help, willing to receive that help. And you also have to be able to see that needing help is not a sign of weakness. But most importantly, you have to understand that if one person proves to be unreliable, that doesn't mean that everybody in your life is unreliable. That's a negative thought pattern that I talked about in a recent video, where you generalize and you think that because one person did one thing, that everybody will do the same thing. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to watch that video. So my dear warrior, it is time to take off the armor and drop your shield and your sword. I know it can be scary asking for help and finding yourself dependent on other people. So what I'll ask you to do here is to start with somebody who has made you feel safe. It doesn't have to be asking for help with the big things. It can be something really small. Maybe you can ask them to help you hang your artwork. You can ask them to help you cut vegetables so you can cook. You can ask them to help you go to the market for you, so that you begin to get comfortable with asking and receiving help. Because your feminine energy increases and thrives when you start getting comfortable with allowing people take care of you and serve you. It is an amazing feeling that also has a way of improving your self-worth. The second sign that you are too in your masculine energy is that relaxation stresses you out. This is when you feel guilty for wanting to take time off. Let me know if this sounds like you. You've been working really hard, right? Maybe for weeks and months. So you decide to take time off, maybe a few hours or even a day, so you can relax and unwind. But then you start to get anxious, restless, and your mind starts to roam. Reminding you that you have 1,001 things to do. You get so tensed and so stressed out about relaxing that you give up and you go back to work. And you find yourself doing this over and over and over until you completely disconnect from your feminine energy or you burn out. If this resonates with you, that's a sign that you are beginning to operate more in your masculine energy. This is worse for women who are very ambitious, women who have demanding jobs, who run their businesses, women with big dreams who are constantly working towards those dreams and goals. If you are this type of woman, you will find that it is familiar and comfortable to operate under stress, putting out fires here and there, being driven, focused, hyper-vigilant, so nothing goes bad, to the extent that relaxing feels strange and uncomfortable in your body. If this sounds like what's going on in your life, you cannot let this go on for too long because it can be difficult finding your way back to your feminine energy. So when relaxing stresses you out, you have to remind yourself that you are worthy of rest, that resting is good for you because it means you will recharge and come back 100%. You have to remind yourself that your business will not catch fire if you take a day off, or that your dreams will not die if you take a few days off. You have to calm your mind and intentionally remind yourself of these things when your mind tries to trick you and make you feel that resting is something you should feel guilty about. Because your feminine energy thrives and increases when you're comfortable with just being, not when you're always doing. Honestly, this is something that if you're not very conscious, you won't even realize it's happening to you. Mine was so bad that I could be on my bed trying to relax by reading a book, but my body will be so tensed. I would literally get a headache from trying to relax. And because I started noticing this about myself, I got more intentional about researching it. And I remember reading this article, and the author said, let your body get comfortable with what relaxation feels like. And I got teary-eyed because for a long time, that wasn't even possible. What really helped me was guided meditation because I find it difficult meditating on myself. So this app called Calm has some guided meditation on it, and I'll leave the link in the description to the particular practice I use if that's possible. But if it's not, I'll leave the title of that particular practice so that when you download the app, you can search for it. It's been so helpful. I know some people think that meditation is this abstract thing, but it is not. It's just you being present, being attuned with your breathing, your inner world, and your surroundings. So my darling, you have to let your body get comfortable with what relaxation feels like. And now the third sign, and that is you are emotionally detached and unavailable. Before I started doing my inner work, I used to think that because I have feelings, I must be emotionally available. But that's not really true because we all have feelings. Except you are a psychopath. But being emotionally available means opening up yourself to the full range of your emotions, even the uncomfortable ones. Because when we usually talk about emotional availability, we often talk about it in terms of not being able to give and receive love. But there's the other side of the coin, and that is allowing yourself to completely feel your negative emotions. Emotions like pain, hurt, fear, anger, rage, because these are usually emotions that we shove way down, refuse to deal with it, or even numb ourselves from feeling these emotions because we want to be strong. Another reason this sometimes happens is the fear that if you feel these emotions completely, they could control you, they could take over your life. And when you do this long enough, you can disconnect from your feminine essence. And the sad truth is, for you to reconnect reconnect to your feminine side, you have to allow yourself to feel. You are strong enough to completely feel your emotions without having to act on them. You can feel your anger and your rage at the injustices and pain you've had to endure in life without you going out there and picking a fight with everybody. You can mourn the loss of a relationship or a loved one without you breaking down completely from it. Believe me, as someone who has been in this place before, you cannot completely heal your wounded feminine energy if you don't allow yourself to completely feel your emotions. The healing is in the feeling, and the beautiful part is that the same depth at which you can feel these emotions, these negative emotions, is the same depth that you can feel positive emotions like love, joy, kindness, pleasure, compassion, happiness, light, all the positive emotions you can think about. Yes, the feminine energy is nurturing, but it doesn't always have to be nurturing to others. It is nurturing to self, and healing is a part of you nurturing yourself. Now let's talk about the emotional unavailability aspect of giving and receiving love, because it is not only men that can be this way. Sometimes women are this way too. I was one long ago before I started my journey, and it's usually the little things. Okay, for me, it was that I was uncomfortable hugging my friends, hugging my siblings. I was uncomfortable saying I love you to them. I knew I loved them, but the idea of saying that made me really uncomfortable. And the sad part was that when I would see my friends end a call with their sibling or another friend with I love you, I would want that. I would want to be so comfortable with receiving and giving love in that way. But every time I think about it, my whole body would lock and I'll feel uncomfortable. When I noticed this about myself, like I said, feeling your negative emotions, I had to sit with it and ask myself why I think it's bad for me to say I love you to somebody I actually love. The sad part was that it was easy saying these things and doing these things with men, whether they were worthy of it or not. So doing the inner work really helped me. It got me comfortable with saying I love you to my siblings, saying I love you to my friends, hugging them when I need that hug, just welcoming their touch. So if this sounds like you have to do the work. You have to break out of your comfort zone. You have to say to yourself, every time I end a call with my girlfriend, I will tell her I love you. It'll feel uncomfortable for the first few times, but then you get comfortable with it. And when you are feeling uncomfortable with people saying they love you, you have to remind yourself that you are worthy of receiving love, and the people in your life are also worthy of receiving all the love you have to give. Now, before we get into the fourth sign, if you'd like to learn how to be more feminine when you are dating, I am going to leave a link to one of my videos where I share 10 micro habits that can help you be more feminine if you are dating or in a relationship. The video will not just help you learn how to be more feminine, it'll also show you how you've been operating in your masculine energy when it comes to your love life. Sign number 4 is that you see beauty or self-care as a waste of time. There was a time I used to think that women who paid attention to their appearance and took care of themselves were doing too much. I used to think they were vain because I couldn't really understand the need for makeup, for skincare routines, spa days, body scrubbing, scented candles, aromatherapy bath. I didn't understand the need for that. And this was the height of my tomboy phase. This was when I was really in my masculine energy. I cared nothing for my appearance. And that is why I will forever be grateful for this journey, for reconnecting me to that side of myself and helping me see that taking care of myself is a way of me showering myself with love. So you have to think like that. Taking care of your appearance is not a waste of time. Being concerned about your appearance doesn't mean you're vain, because all of these things that we do as women, the manicure, getting our hair done, the spa days, all of these things have a way of increasing our feminine energy or even reconnecting us to our feminine side, especially if you've been stressed either from work or from life. Besides, the feminine and beauty have been interlocked from time immemorial. So embrace the beauty in your life and take care of yourself. You deserve that. And the fifth and final sign is that you are disconnected from yourself. And this can happen in two ways. mind and body. So for mind, this is when you're living in your head, always thinking, worrying, and stressing. This is when everything driving you is external. So work, maybe your business or your academics or your responsibilities drive you to wake up in the morning and go about your life. But on the inside, you feel empty, like something is missing, no sense of purpose, overwhelmed, disconnected from the people in your life, and even disconnected from your emotional well-being, so much that you are essentially operating on autopilot. The second one, which is a disconnection from your physical body, can happen either due to trauma or simply because you don't feel beautiful. It could be that you feel bulky, manly, too fat, too skinny. Regardless of which one you are experiencing, it is such a terrible place to be. But the good thing is that it is so easy to reconnect with yourself. With your body, the simple act of taking your hands and running them all over your body, paying close attention to how that feels against your skin, has a way of reawakening certain feelings in you and reconnecting you to your body. It's like when a baby cries and you swaddle that baby in a blanket. Dancing and yoga are habits that can help, and you also have to constantly remind yourself that you are beautiful, because you are. With your mind, simply take the time to sit with your emotions. Tune into yourself, your inner world, and understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Could it be that there are certain experiences that you've been having lately that has made you disconnect from yourself? Because self-awareness is a superpower. Two other habits that can help is journaling and meditating. All of these things can give you clarity on what's happening, help you understand yourself better, give you a sense of control and direction so that you know how to go about fixing what's missing. And that's it for today's video. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them with me in the comments section. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and turn on post notification so that you do not miss the next video. Trust me, you will love it here. As always, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.